Hey guys, I'm just trying to figure out how to watch my live stream on YouTube at the same time so that I can keep track of chat room. Okay, here we go. Can everybody hear me? Okay, perfect. Yay, now I can see the live chat on both YouNow and on YouTube. That way I can try and chat with you guys on both things here. So let me know if the music is too loud. I think the music was too loud on my test run. So, but yeah, it's just like a lo-fi playlist. But yeah, if you guys have been following me on Instagram, I'd asked in my stories if you guys wanted to see a kind of walkthrough of how I draw faces or take requests. And yeah, a drawing tutorial was definitely the winner. So I'm just gonna kind of walk you guys through this, how I draw faces. So I got this picture here. That's her Instagram handle there. She's gorgeous. And yeah, so I'm not gonna be going for exact realism. Whenever I draw portraits, I'm usually going for a bit of a stylization. So but yeah, so let's get into it. I'm going to be using Photoshop here. So whenever I do a portrait, I always start with like a really, really rough sphere, just like a circle basically. Then I usually just very roughly kind of map out a quick jawline like that. So I just kind of very, very rough. Nothing's concrete, just kind of go into it. Hi from Ontario. I'm from Ontario too. I don't know English, but I love it. Aw. So, and then, yeah, I kind of do a vertical line to map out the center of the face. And then another line going horizontally to try and map out where the eyes are going to be. Again, all very rough. I usually end up abandoning these guidelines pretty quickly. And I usually start out with the nose. Hi guys. And just kind of roughly kind of add in a general shape. And gonna throw in her nostrils here. And then usually, sometimes I'll do the eye, sometimes I'll do the mouth. I think lately I've been doing the mouth first after the nose. You can kind of already see I'm going to end up drawing the face a lot bigger after. But it's just, the guidelines are just to get started. And I'm a really sketchy person when I'm working. I know some people are doing okay with audio. Some people can't hear it, I guess. I know that Google Chrome, I think, is the preferred browser for YouNow. So I don't know if that helps potentially. But yeah, so that is that. And then I go in with the eyes. Oh, it's 1:07 in the morning or at night? At night. I mean 1:07 in the day or at in late like early morning. That's super late. Oh my gosh, doing a tutorial and keeping up with the chat is very hard. It's probably why I've never done it. It's probably why I don't do tutorials, but I'm not even sure if this is a helpful tutorial at all. I don't know even if I can call this a tutorial, but then with the eyes, I always go with the upper kind of lash line first. And I'm already kind of thinking that these eyes might be a bit too low, but we'll see. Sometimes I'll throw in the bottom lash line there, and then we can throw in her pupils. Her irises, I should say. And the nice thing about Photoshop is I can just move it a little bit if I really want to. Time zones are weird. I love it though. It is 8 p.m. here for me in Toronto. And then usually just start erasing a little bit just so it's not so messy. And looking at it now, I think I want the bridge of her nose to kind of come in a little bit more. And we're gonna move the eye. Oh my gosh. I don't know what, whenever I try to move something incrementally with my tablet pen, it doesn't want to do it. I'll use my mouse here. Thanks for joining me, everybody. It's 2 a.m. in South Africa. Wow, that's super late. Thanks for joining me. So I'm just gonna erase a little bit here just to clean it up a little bit. So, and yeah, from here I just sort of keep adding in the eyes. I always, I think my love of makeup, I always end up doing really thick upper lash lines. And probably from all of my years of drawing anime in my high school years. Always got to have that thick upper lash line. $10 a.m. in Melbourne, Australia. 6 p.m. in Mexico. Wow, so international. I love it. And she's got a little bit of eyelid space here, so I'll throw that in too. And something that always ends up happening is whenever I draw faces, the facial features end up being way too big for the initial outline that I did for the face. So like I had mentioned earlier, just completely disregarding the the guideline that I originally made. So we're gonna quickly kind of put in a new jawline here for her. What kind of music do you listen to when sketching? I mean, I find I don't listen to anything particularly different whether or not I'm painting or drawing or just listening to music while doing other things. Just kind of listen to whatever. But Lately, I've been really enjoying Dua Lipa's new album, Future Nostalgia, as well as Rina Sawayama has been releasing new songs. She's dropping her new album in a couple days, I think. So pretty excited for that. And okay, so we got her face mapped in there, and then let's throw in her eyebrows. I love her really thick eyebrows. If you guys are familiar with any of my work, you'll know that I love thick, fierce eyebrows. Definitely a common thing that I do with all of my drawings. Oh yeah, it's funny that you say that because I have been listening to Harry Styles' new album as well, which I was like really resistant to for a long time because I was never like a One Direction fan. I think I was too old for that era, but that boy band era. But I really like his new album, Fine Lines, I believe it's called. Especially like the first kind of first 2/3 of the album. I really like it. Someone on my Instagram made a story saying that One Direction is getting back together or something, or there's rumors about it, which is funny. I think it's kind of funny. But yeah, I'm in my late 20s, so my love of boy bands was during the NSYNC Backstreet Boys era. So at this point in the sketch, I just start kind of erasing all the sketchy guidelines that I had, and any lines or whatever that I don't need anymore. I'm glad that I did a little bit of sketching prior to this live stream because I feel like that came together pretty well. I've been drawing pretty much consistently since I was 12 or 13. It's a question that I get pretty frequently. Yes, I think I want to have her eyebrow a little bit more raised. I'm not going for exact likeness from the reference photo here, but I kind of like how it's arched. Aw, thanks. I'm always really surprised when people say my voice is soothing, because I never really thought of it that way, or I'm never like trying to sound soothing. I'm just that's the way I talk, I guess. Sometimes if I'm like with friends and we get heated conversations about something, I'll be really loud and obnoxious. My favorite animal. Let's think. The first thing that comes to mind is a red panda. I just think they're so cute. I also think sloths are incredibly relatable and hilarious. I also just love cats, which is like maybe a boring answer, but I feel like my Instagram Explore feed is 40% cat videos and cat pictures. Oh, right. So I'm just adding her eyelashes now. I really like having really thick bottom lashes. Okay. I'm really bad at tutorials, guys. This is probably why I never do them. Okay, now when I map out the ear, I literally just like throw in a rough kind of ellipsis, oval shape, and then do that. Get the shape of the earlobe there. Oh my gosh, my mom is calling me? Sorry, Mom. Decline. She almost never calls me, and of course she calls me when I'm doing a live stream. Okay, and then throwing in the ear. I don't even know what to call this. The details of the ear. Favorite artist. I can't say I can just pick one, to be honest. I feel like there's just so many artists that I really admire and look up to. In my one YouTube video that I did, it's almost like an hour long, and I did like a Q&A sketchbook draw with me thing. It's towards the beginning of the video, but I kind of list a bunch of artists that I admire. So yeah. What is your favorite meal during quarantine? I've been trying to have a variety because you know, things get boring. I do definitely miss eating at restaurants. But I ordered Thai food a couple weeks ago, and that was delicious, and it was a large quantity, so I had leftovers the next day, which is really yummy. Whenever people ask what my favorite food is in general, I always say noodles, because I love pad thai, and it's just delicious and satisfying. Do you watch anime? Do I ever? Yeah, anime was my life when I was in high school. And I don't keep up with new current stuff as much as I did in my high school days, but I do still consume it and love it. I've been rewatching Bleach, and I found out that Bleach is making a comeback with a new season, which super excited about. I think that's awesome. It's been like many years since it finished, the anime anyway, and the manga, but yeah, so I'm super pumped about that. I feel like I picked the perfect time to come back to it. Sorry, I'm missing all these questions here. Do you think the art industry has started to lean more towards digital art? Yeah, definitely in a lot of ways, for sure. When you look at animation, you know, everything used to be done by hand, and now most of it has gone digital because it's faster and more efficient, and there's, you know, a lot of flexibility there. I think a lot of things that have gone digital, it's because it's more economical, and yeah, and things like, you know, people are using apps and are just online a lot more. So, you know, the digital landscape in terms of websites, games, those kinds of things. Yeah, so definitely we are living in a digital age, but I definitely prefer... Oh my gosh, I think I need to text my mom really quick just so she doesn't think I died or something. Sorry guys. Very distracted here. Are you studying art or something related? No. I finished my graphic design college degree many years ago. So I am no longer in school. Oh my gosh. Mom is driving me crazy. What is your favorite TV show? There's so many. But first thing that comes to mind is Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's incredible. Which is an animated TV show. It's a show that I can never get sick of. I've watched it so many times over. So that's kind of why I often say that's my favorite, because I feel like that's a good definition of a favorite show, is one that you can continue to watch over and over. Yes, I'm drawing on a tablet. It's no joke, over 10 years old. I've had it since I was in grade 11. It's like a tiny bamboo drawing tablet. It's the only drawing tablet I've ever had. And it still works. So yeah, it's tiny. It's smaller than a regular piece of paper. I'm 28 years of age, which is potentially very old compared to some of you guys. Do you think you'd make a TikTok? I don't think I will anytime soon. Trying to keep up with all the things I'm already doing is a lot of work already, such as, you know, YouTube and doing these live streams, making artwork, keeping up with my Instagram, my shop, all those things. So I feel like with TikTok, it looks fun and people are really into it. It's very popular right now. But yeah, it's just, I gotta pick my battles. So now I'm putting in her hair. I love this curly hair. So gonna go with that. The thing about curly hair though is I find, especially something like this, it's like difficult to get the texture right, because you don't want it to look too uniform, but you also want to be able to see where all the different curls are. And so this is kind of where, as an artist, you can take some liberties and simplify it. Trying to decide. It's kind of tough because obviously it's cut off at the top here, so I'll have to make it up as I go. But let's see. And the tricky thing about hairstyles like this too is you can't decipher where the hair, like there's no hair part that I can see, which I find helps, but just throw in a bunch of curls everywhere. There are a lot of people in the YouTube chat this time. Yes. I'm very glad that sorry, I'm just putting a sweater on right now. Very glad that I set up my iPad here so that I can actually see the YouTube chat. What watercolors do you use? I have a lot of different watercolors. I've done a review on the Paul Rubens watercolor palette. I've done a review on the Kuretake Gansai Tambi palette. I own a bunch of different tubes from Winsor Newton, Daniel Smith, Shinhan. What else? I think, trying to think. There's probably more, but I can't think of them all at the moment. But yeah, I'm not dedicated to one particular brand. I definitely like exploring lots of different brands. Do you first draw on your tablet and then print it out to paint on? Yeah, sometimes. Not always, but if especially for more complicated illustrations, I'll draw usually on my iPad with Procreate, and yeah, and then I'll print it out and then transfer it onto the watercolor paper or board or whatever it is that I'm working on. I definitely find that sketching digitally, there's just a lot of flexibility, like being able to, as you saw earlier, I can, you know, grab things and move them around and resize and things like that. Whereas with working traditionally, you'd have to erase it and draw it again. Okay. I don't know what, this hair is really tough. I think I'm just gonna have to go rogue here and not really worry about the reference photo too much with this hair. What's your favorite medium? I get this question a lot, and I flip-flop between watercolor and gouache, but I think, yeah, I'm literally, I think last time I got asked this question, I said watercolor, and the previous time I said gouache, so it's really a toss-up. So I don't know if I can properly choose one or the other. A lot of the times I use them together too, so I'm gonna add more volume here, because why not? I just draw a whole bunch of squiggly lines and hope for the best. Yeah, basically. I feel that. What's something you would tell a smart art channel like myself about growing an art channel? Pretty much I would say just try and, you know, I think it's easy to be discouraged if you're not seeing instant results. So I would say to be patient and be mindful of you know, making the stuff that you like and want to see, because I find if you are just focusing on, you know, the idea of, you know, what kind of content is going to be popular, or what kind of content is going to go viral, or is the stuff people want to see, you're going to burn out and it won't be fun. If that makes sense. So it is a lot of work. Sorry, I'm like really struggling with what to do with the top of her hair right now. But yeah, so yeah, I find it's easy to fall into that trap of, you know, what kind of content can I put out there that's going to be popular? But I think it's more important to focus on what's the type of content that I want to make and I want to see. Like with me starting my art channel, I really I wanted to focus on the types of videos that I personally like to consume. So When I watch art YouTube channels, I really like voiceovers. I like hearing a combination of, you know, what the artist is like as a person, but as well as the art process, and how they feel about certain, you know, products or mediums or things like that. So that was something that I wanted to focus on in my videos. Okay, I think this is working for me. Why don't you draw with black? When I sketch traditionally, I usually use a colored pencil because I find it's I don't like graphite pencils. They're smudgy, and so I usually use like a red colored pencil to sketch with when I'm using traditional media. And I just kind of gotten used to it, and I've adopted it. I think a big part of it is because I typically am drawing portraits of people, and I find that using a warm color just looks really complementary when I start to color it. Even if the sketch doesn't end up being visible in the end, it's I just find it's more interesting, it's more satisfying for me. Okay, I think we've figured out. I had to give her some kind of point of where this hair was coming from. I actually do have a coloring book. If you check out my YouTube community tab, I actually posted like a Gumroad link to purchase the digital files for an old coloring book that I made back in 2015. So basically it's just like a PDF, and you can print out the coloring pages at home and then you can color them. It's quite old, so the sketches are, or the illustrations are not at the same level as I am now, but I figured during, you know, everyone's been quarantining, so it just kind of made sense to bring that back. It used to be a physical coloring book that I had printed and would ship out to people, but now you can print it at home. Okay, this hair is really fun. It's not hair that I typically do. It kind of reminds me of like a curlier. The hair reminds me of like a curlier version of Sailor Neptune's hair. I started drawing when I was about 12, 13, 28 now, so it's been about 16 years, if I did the math correctly, that I've been drawing. Which I think helps puts into perspective, because I think a lot of people, especially young artists, they are kind of impatient, and they, you know, they're like, how do I get better fast? They're always looking for the secret tip or something, and there really isn't. It's just you got to put in the work, and you got to put in the time and the years, and just keep working at it. There's no secret book. There's no secret advice. And of course, everyone learns and grows at their own pace. Some people will grow much faster than others. But yeah, I've been making drawings for a very long time. Okay, I think that's pretty much the sketch there. Maybe I'm gonna go into, actually maybe I'll strengthen her jawline here. Kind of like in the photo here, she's got pretty strong kind of jaw here. Do I draw every day? Most days. Definitely been drawing a lot more now that I'm not at my day job, because my day job is not an essential service, so it's closed indefinitely while we're, you know, social distancing and everything. So now that I'm home all the time, I do draw almost every day. Maybe not every single day. I feel like there's probably a handful of days where I take a break and end up spending the day doing other things for my art business, like edit YouTube videos or do the voiceovers, or fulfill shop orders, things like that. So oh yay, that's awesome. I hope that you enjoy the Paul Rubens watercolors when they arrive to you. I really like them. I think they're a lot of fun to use, and the pink palette that it comes in is so adorable. So yeah, I really like them a lot. I think maybe I'll do a little bit of hatching, because I really like this pencil. This Kyle Ultimate pencil. And yeah, hatching is not something that I feel like I do super often. But yeah, I get a lot of questions about how do you know where to put shadows, and I'm definitely no expert, but working from reference photos definitely helps, because then you can see where all the lights and darks are, and the more you practice, the more kind of the visual library you just kind of build in your head about where shadow placements can typically go. So I'm just using Photoshop for this live stream, but when I'm sketching on my iPad, I use Procreate. Prior to coming onto this live stream with you guys, I was working on the sketching of another 6 fan arts challenge, and for my 3rd round, I'm going to be doing all fan art of male characters, which has been really, really fun. On my Instagram stories, I'd asked my audience to give me their fictional male boyfriends, their fictional boyfriends for suggestions, and I got some really good options. Very excited to show you guys that. I was drawing Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist, and I was drawing Billy Hargrove from Stranger Things. I've never drawn Billy before, so it's been kind of difficult, to be honest. It's hard to capture his likeness. And then Edward I haven't drawn in many, many years. Photoshop color in? I don't really know. I don't work digitally very often, so I have so little experience these days doing fully finished illustrations with digitally. So to be honest, I don't really know. I couldn't really say. I was saying earlier that I do a lot of sketching digitally, and then I'll transfer the sketch onto watercolor paper or something like that, and then paint traditionally. So definitely am not a digital artist, I would say. I typically work traditionally, but for these YouNow live streams, I figured this would be, a fun way to do something a little bit different, especially since my Instagram live streams I do traditionally. So I figured it would make sense to do something a little bit different for you guys here on YouTube and YouNow. So, but yeah, in case some of you didn't know, I've been doing live streams on my Instagram every Tuesday. And I've been doing marker illustrations in my sketchbook. And yeah, we have been having a lot of fun over there talking about different TV shows, and I've been doing a lot of fan art over on Instagram, so makes for really fun conversations about different characters and stuff. Will you do a sketchbook flip through? Yeah, I definitely want to. I have very few sketchbooks that are actually finished, which is why I don't have any sketchbook flip throughs at the moment. But I recently found an old sketchbook that is actually finished. It's like pretty old. It's I think from like 2013 through like 2014 or 15 or something like that. But I figured that might be still interesting for you guys to see. So I might do a sketchbook flip through of that. And then of course, when I get around to finishing any of my newer ones, I will definitely be doing a flip through of those. How did you want to, I'm guessing the question was, how did you know what you wanted to do art for a living? How did I know I wanted to do art for a living? Well, it took me a while to kind of settle on, I mean, ironically, I'm still not even technically a full-time artist. Like I mentioned earlier, I had worked a day job before quarantining and stuff. So not even technically a full-time artist yet. But all my life, I was never good or interested in anything else. I spent all of my high school years drawing, and I just wasn't interested in anything else. Yeah, like in high school, I took every creative program or class that I could. I did, of course, I did visual arts, I did photography, I took fashion, I took cosmetology. And so I really put all of my eggs in one basket, basically. But yeah, I actually went to school for graphic design, thinking that it was the practical choice over going to school for illustration. But here I am, not really doing graphic design. Are there any languages you want to learn? I mean, obviously, I would love to be able to know more languages. I definitely am very lazy in terms of trying to, learn new languages. But if I could, or if I really wanted to commit to trying to learn a new language, I think it would be nice to know Vietnamese, because I am Vietnamese, and so I speak to my family in English, because when I was a kid, like when I was a really really young kid, I guess I spoke a little Vietnamese, and then when I started going to school and started learning English, I just kind of lost all of my Vietnamese knowledge, and then yeah, so it's kind of a bummer. So it would be nice to know Vietnamese. My knowledge of Vietnamese is like almost non-existent. So yeah, and then I guess I would love to know Japanese, because I watch a lot of anime and I would love to visit Japan one day. So knowing Japanese would be pretty handy. It's funny because I watch so much of it, but you know, you're just paying attention to the subtitles and then what's going on the screen, so you don't actually really comprehend what's going on. I watch so much anime. You would think that I would have started to learn a little bit of Japanese by now, but alas. Also, I just realized this whole stream was supposed to be about me doing a mini tutorial, and I feel like I've totally dropped the ball there. But as you can see, I'm just sort of like very lightly kind of doing some cross hatching for the shading, which I'm really digging. It's not something I do very often, and it's kind of fun. Do you have any tips on not being so hard / nervous about the art you make? I don't really show anybody my art because I feel like they'll judge me. Yes. That is a tough one. I think maybe going in baby steps about it. So if there's something that, if you made some artwork that you like, and maybe, you know, show it to a really good friend of yours first, or someone who would be kind, someone that you can trust and feel comfortable with showing, and then, you know, if they, you know, the type of person that would give you positive or constructive, like nicely constructed comments, and then kind of ease into it that way, I guess. For me, I started sharing my art online pretty early on in my, you know, drawing endeavors. Like I think around 13, 14, I'd started posting my artwork online like pretty soon after getting into drawing. So yeah, I don't know. I guess another thing is like, really, what's the worst that can happen? Someone can just be like, I don't like the way you drew that eyeball. It's like, okay, fine. Like, you draw one then. I don't know. That's really bad advice, I guess. I don't know. But honestly, I do think that showing your artwork to people you can trust and people who are close to you first, I think is probably the best way to start. And then the more you get comfortable with that, then you can kind of move on to showing other people in your life, or start posting it online. Honestly, I think I've found it easier posting my artwork online to strangers than it was to people in person, just because I feel like for me, especially in my high school years, I didn't have a lot of friends that I was close with that was also into anime specifically. And so that's why I ended up moving into, you know, posting my stuff online so early on, because I wanted to share it with people who would who get it, I guess, like you know, like-minded people who also were like into the same TV shows and had this, you know, similar interests and stuff like that. So yeah. Is it just a preference that you sketch in pink/red? Yes. I just find it more satisfying and fun looking. Thank you. I'm in a situation like yours. I'm studying graphic design, but I don't see myself working or doing design. I like drawing and making illustrations. Yeah, that was a tricky situation. So when I was in school for graphic design, I basically kind of found every opportunity to draw or make illustrations when I could. So whenever I had an assignment that needed some kind of visual content, I would make illustrations, you know, instead of, you know, when my classmates would be using photography or stock photos or things like that. I would find any opportunity to make illustrations and draw. So that was kind of my own compromise, and my teachers actually really appreciated it because it was, you know, it's more unique. It's, you know, your own original content. You're putting in a lot of work. You're putting in that extra work to be making your own visual content as opposed to, yeah, using like a stock photo online. And so I found that I used it to, you know, my ability and my love of drawing actually benefited me when I was in school. So if you're able to do that, I would definitely recommend that. If you're in a position where you kind of have to see it through. Of course, if you have the option to switch into illustration, if that's really what you want to do, then you can do that as well. But obviously everybody's situations are different. At the time, I didn't consider switching. I was like, I've committed to doing graphic design and that's what I'm going to do. And I don't regret it because I did learn a lot that I probably wouldn't have learned on my own, like things like typography and learning InDesign and things like that. So, and I met my best friend when I was in school. So there's a lot of things that I'm glad about, but, and yeah, and now I'm an illustrator and content creator, even despite all of the kind of run around. I'm not really crazy about how the hatching looks on her kind of cheek here, so I might just lightly erase it and try again. I feel like I haven't figured out a nice eraser yet. That's not what I wanted. Okay. Clearly not doing digital art very often. I'm struggling a little bit. Thanks so much. Do you know how to overcome the feeling when you want to draw something and get upset because it doesn't come out the way you want it? Yes. I do totally understand where you're coming from with that. There's definitely been many times where I spend a lot of time and effort and getting my hopes up about an illustration and it doesn't come out the way that I had thought it would, and that can definitely be frustrating and discouraging, but I try to, well, for one thing, I definitely say to try and finish the illustration, because I know a lot of times people will give up before the thing is done. So I definitely recommend actually trying to see it through, because I find a lot of times that when making artwork and doing illustration and stuff, there's times where the piece will go through, you know, it's like quote unquote ugly phases. And if you saw my most recent YouTube video, that's kind of like the perfect example of that. I had a really frustrating time working on that piece, and I just kept pushing and trying, and eventually I ended up making it work. Of course, there's definitely going to be times where that doesn't happen. There's going to be times when you've put in all this work and you've, you know, drawn and finished it as best as you could, and it still doesn't come out the way you want. But I think a good outlook to have about it is that maybe you didn't get the result that you want, but it was still worth it. Like, it wasn't a waste of time, because ultimately you're still putting in the hours, and you're gonna be, whether or not you whether or not you actually realize it, but you probably learned so much during the process of making whatever it was that you're working on, and it will pretty likely aid you in the next project that you take on. I'm the type of person that doesn't like to draw something more than once, unless I'm revisiting something really, really old from like many years ago or something like that. So of course you have the option to try it again, and it's pretty likely that it'll end up being better the second time around, because you know what to expect and you know what to avoid and how to fix it potentially. But I'm kind of the type of person that I usually end up just moving on to something else. I'm really struggling with how to do this side of her face. I think just because it's such a large area. So the thing about my current illustration career is, while there is a few things that I can do within the city that I live in, such as like doing art conventions and things like that, but to be honest, the majority of what I do lives on the internet. So it wouldn't necessarily matter where I live in terms of the artwork that I'm showing to you guys on Instagram. I make my prints at home, and then I ship internationally. I live in Canada, and most of the prints that I send out end up going to the States. And I had a lot of artwork go to Australia and all sorts of places in the world. And then making YouTube videos, everything is online. And so that's something that kind of is the benefit of the kind of digital age that we live in, is the location that you live in doesn't necessarily hinder you from being able to get your artwork out there. There's a painter, an oil painter. She's she's quite successful as an oil painter, and it's funny because there is an art scene in Toronto, but I was listening to this podcast that she was on, and she was doing this interview, and she said that none of her success is seen local. Like, she doesn't do any gallery shows. She makes no sales in Toronto. Like, all of her success is international. She just has to ship out all of her paintings. Because, she was just, the market that, the demographic, the market that she has for her work, it all is all in the States or in Australia. So yeah, I would say that we're kind of in the age where location doesn't necessarily hinder us in the same way that it used to. Okay, I think that worked out a little better. Yeah, staying motivated is tough. I have gone to the point where like I had mentioned earlier, I don't have any other real skill sets, I feel like. And so a lot of my motivation and drive is just from like, okay, I'm 28. I've spent all of my years trying to pursue an art career, and I have to see this through. Like I have so much determination to prove not only to like my mom and my friends, but just like to myself that, you know, this is the path that I chose and I'm committed to seeing it through. And so there's definitely times when I'm not in the mood, or times I feel discouraged, or I feel like I'm not, you know, where I want to be, especially given that I'm not even a full-time artist yet, but I don't have any other skills. So this is it. Oh yay, that's awesome. Thank you so much for buying something for my shop. Oh my gosh, I'm like, so I went to the post office a couple days ago and shipped everything out, and honestly, like I was so surprised and really grateful for all the orders that I got. Especially like I had assumed that during this time that I would see like no sales in my shop, which I was like totally prepared for, because you know everyone's financial situation is rocky right now. But yeah, the fact that so many of you guys purchased and got stuff from my shop, I'm just like so grateful for that. So by the way, to talk about what I'm doing here, I added another layer here, and I'm going in with like a darker kind of purpley color, just to get some variety here in the tones, because I'm finding it's a bit flat looking. Maybe I'll go in with like a burgundy color. So I just kind of want to strengthen some of these darks. Aw, bye. Good luck on homework. Thanks for coming. I'll save this live stream on YouTube and on YouNow so that you guys, if you can't stay for the whole thing, then you can definitely watch it later. Oh yay, awesome. Yeah, let me know what you're working on. If you're I love hearing about if you guys are working on drawings yourself while listening to this live stream, or if you're working on something, knitting, eating snacks. I feel like there's something about this sketch that I did that kind of reminds me of Audrey Hepburn. Might be the short hair and the thick eyebrows, perhaps. You're gonna paint a dragon for your friend's birthday? That's awesome. That's super fun. I feel like making artwork as a gift is such a lovely and personal thing to do. I love that. Yeah, right? I think it's like the little wispy baby bangs that kind of give it the Audrey Hepburn kind of look. Oh yeah, I definitely want to add in her freckles too. I love freckles. I think they're so cute. Oh my gosh, I don't know why this constantly happens. Like whenever I'm doing something kind of small or intricate, this little brush window pops up. It's driving me crazy. For a really long time, I was using Photoshop CS6, I believe, on my laptop, which is over 10 years old. And then I finally got a new computer, and now I have to use Photoshop CC, and feel like I'm still a little bit new to some of its quirks and features. Not that I even use Photoshop super often anyway for drawing. Mostly use Photoshop to edit my artwork and stuff for making them into prints and things. You're also painting a portrait of her. Oh, love that. Awesome. Yeah, that's why I wanted the reference photo up in case you guys wanted to follow along. I do apologize that this tutorial didn't end up being too much of a tutorial, which is why in my Instagram stories I said that it was going to be a light tutorial because I didn't have anything planned in advance. I think that's another reason why I haven't done any tutorials on my YouTube channel yet, because I don't think I'm very good at it, like explaining what I'm doing. But maybe one day I'll get around to doing some tutorials, because I know a lot of people have been asking for tutorials on a multitude of different things. Thanks so much. I feel like maybe I want to give her more eyelashes. More eyelashes. It makes me miss wearing makeup. During quarantine, I haven't had a reason to put makeup on anymore, so kind of miss it. But I'm thinking of doing, or I'm planning to do a YouTube video, just sort of talking to you guys in more detail about my artistic art journey, I guess I could call it. And so I think for that video, I'll probably, if you guys are familiar with Fran Nerd, I really like kind of her story time videos where she just sort of has like the camera pointing at her, and then she kind of talks about whatever it is that she's talking about in the video, and then she'll have like visual aids throughout the video. So I think I'll probably end up doing something like that. I was digging through my old DeviantArt and looking at old artwork that I can show you guys. It's pretty interesting. Some of it's a little bit cringy, but it's to be expected. Thank you. Yeah, eyelashes are really fun to draw for me, but there's definitely times when, especially when I work traditionally, where sometimes a few lashes will end up turning out wonky. which is always really frustrating. But I guess the little trick I would say about eyelashes is if you want to go for like a bit of a more natural look, is to kind of think of it. So this is the lash line, right? Let's just quickly draw an eye. Is you kind of want it to swoop up. So you're thinking of it like it's coming, sprouting kind of outward from the lash line, as opposed to it just being like jutting out. And then another thing that I do when I draw eyelashes, I do try to do little clumps almost. So if I want, and just to get little varieties of it, so that they're kind of more piecey. That's like, this is a terrible example, but I discovered your channel when you did your jelly gouache video. Aw, thank you so much. Yeah, that seems to be, I think, the video that most people find me from. It's definitely my most popular video on YouTube, the jelly gouache video review, our first impressions. I recently started using them again a little bit because I get so many questions about them and I've barely used them. Not because I didn't like them or anything like that, just because I've been juggling so many different projects and things that I've been working on, so I haven't really gone around to using them again. But yeah, so I am playing around with them a little bit again because I think I want to do a follow-up video about them. I unfortunately am not taking commissions at the moment. I'm just I find I'm doing a lot of different personal projects, so not taking commissions at the moment. But I think especially during these times, there is tons of artists that I've seen on Instagram that are taking commissions. So usually I think artists will be posting about it in somewhere on their social media if they're taking commissions, stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely recommend supporting the artist if you're interested in getting some kind of commission done, but unfortunately I am not taking them. But I really am flattered at the interest though. I'm like weirdly satisfied with how this ear turned out. I feel like ears are always like an afterthought for me, but really digging how that one turned out. What else? I guess I should maybe put in some kind of color for the hair just to give it something. I don't think I'll do just something like this. Let's see. How do we feel about that? Do I want to put multiply on everything? Ooh, that looks nice. I'm into that. Photoshop layers. What did I do here? Why is it like that? Oh, because that's annoying. I did that on the wrong layer. Do I just let's just backspace here. Okay, there we go, fixed it. So let's put that on multiply. This is multiply. Okay, now we are in business. This kind of gives me some kind of this hair is like giving me 80s vibes, I feel like. Maybe because I was just drawing curly hair on Billy Hargrove from Stranger Things earlier. What Netflix shows are you guys watching? Now that I have more time, I thought that I would start watching new TV shows, but I've just been rewatching old TV shows that I already know I really like. Been watching Community, and then today I was watching Gilmore Girls for however many times I've already seen the show. But I've only been watching episodes with Jess in it. I think I might change the hair color. What color are we thinking? Maybe something dark. Yeah. I think I like that. But now I feel like the hair feels too flat compared to the rest, so maybe add in some highlights and darks and stuff. Oh, I love those. Yeah, I'm almost done watching Star versus the Forces of Evil. I feel like it's such an underrated show. I really love it. But I've kind of haven't been watching it, or like there's like I'm on the last season. There's like a few episodes left. But I really wanted Star to end up with Tom. And I know that that's not going to happen. And I think that's probably why I lost motivation to keep watching, which is like so silly and petty. But yeah, it's such a fun show. And I loved Adventure Time when it was airing. I kind of fell off. I stopped watching it for a little bit, but I ended up watching the finale and it made me cry. It was so sweet. But yeah, I love cartoons. I love animated TV shows, which is why that was like the big part of why I ended up started drawing, because I was so inspired by animated TV shows and movies. Oh man, guys, I do not know what to do with this hair. I'm not into this at all. I think let's try something else. Can you play any instruments? No. Unfortunately not. That was something that I didn't end up doing in high school. Like I never took any music classes at all. So I'm very jealous and definitely admire people who play instruments, because I think that's so cool. Okay. I think maybe instead of filling it in perfectly solid, I will kind of shade a little bit-ish. A Taiwan class. I feel like someone had mentioned that to me before. A Korean drama, right? I think. I've actually never watched any K-dramas. Very popular though. I know a lot of people really love them. Ooh. My wrist is starting to hurt. Okay, I'm digging that. And then I think maybe what I'll do, put a little swatch of that here. So it's different color when it's on multiply. There we go. Oop. Why is it doing that? Okay. And then with this color, I can start adding in some of these kind of darker bits. This is better. I'm gonna delete this. That was not into that. Wait. Oh, I'm drawing on the wrong layer. Ah. I feel like that's like the bane of digital artists' existence, is drawing on the wrong layer. It's very annoying. The Korean drama really makes me want to start a business. Aw, that's awesome. I can appreciate a TV show that gets you motivated. Hi. Thanks for joining me. How long have I been streaming? Almost an hour. Ooh, wow. All right. Oh no, it's been an hour and a half. Oh my gosh. Wow, time flies, guys. All right, I think probably try and wrap this up pretty soon. Well, this is still definitely a sketch, not finished, but try and make it look as finished as possible here. Curly hair, so time consuming, but very cute. Okay, and then I think I'm gonna maybe I'll put like a wash of color underneath. Let's see. You're my favorite artist on YouTube. Aw, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm very flattered because there's so many great artists here on YouTube. Ooh, I'm into this. Okay, actually, I'm gonna do this, I think, for the whole head. Yeah. Ooh, I'm really into this. Wow, look at that. I feel like it just like came to life. And then I think with a white, wait, let me erase these fuzzy edges first. Yes, I'll definitely upload this to public so that you guys can watch it later. Because I know that not everybody can stick around for the whole thing. Ooh, okay. And then I think what I'll do is I'll use a light color. Thank you. To kind of give in, or to do the highlights. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, I'm not crazy about that, but array, backspace. That's the nice thing about digital art, is being able to backspace. I love adding in highlights. It's like one of the most satisfying parts about making artwork. in this kind of like hatching technique. I usually don't, I feel like I usually don't do this much hatching in my drawing. So that's been kind of a fun thing too. And I don't want to forget her freckles. I'll definitely throw in her freckles before I end this stream. Because I love freckles. They're so cute. I'm digging this. I feel like adding in that kind of mid-tone color really helped bring it to life. No, I gotta be sure I don't get too carried away with these highlights. That's definitely something that I'm guilty of doing. Try and be more sparingly about it. Okay. That's pretty fun. Which is this sketch? This one. Might darken it just a touch. And I'm not sure how I feel about this pink. Let's see. This is a nice thing about digital art is you can just fiddle around with the colors. No, we'll keep it the pink. All right, now I'm gonna do the freckles. I find the thing about freckles is you want to try and make them look as random as possible. But the Photoshop little brush window keeps wanting to pop up. Don't want that. Little line. Yeah, I think this this sketch is kind of a good example of how different that an illustration can look even when you're using a reference photo. I'll put some freckles on her shoulder too, because why not? All right, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Thanks so much for hanging out, guys. I will definitely have this saved on both my YouTube and my YouNow accounts so that you guys can watch it again later, or for those of who didn't get to stick around for the whole thing can watch it back. So yeah, thank you so much for hanging out. I will definitely be doing more live streams here. So for the next, pretty much, yeah, for the rest of April, I'll be doing live streams here, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And if I decide to change the date or time, I mean the time for that for May, I'll let you guys know. So yeah, I hope that you guys have a good day or evening wherever you're at. I appreciate the questions, and yeah, I'll see you next time.